1, 2, 3.
Hey everyone.
Welcome to this episode of the 4+1 podcast. I'm Chang.
My name is Pheng.
I'm Nou Chi.
And I'm Elijah.
And we have a special guest here today. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Chang.
And there we go. There we got it. So today's topic that I want to introduce us upon is mental health. I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough. Like, I feel like people make it such a taboo subject, even when talking with your friends or family. You know, like people will say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, people just say, "Oh yeah, I'm good." You know, but they don't really express how they really feel. Like, why do you think that is?
Deep down inside.
Well, the interesting thing is that it's actually American culture, right? Where we're just so accustomed to just say, "Hey, how are you doing?" You're like, "Oh, good." But then like in countries like Europe, if someone actually asks you, "Hey, how are you doing?" That's where it's actually a very genuine question where you actually talk about how you're doing. So I think in America, we're just so used to like, "Oh, good. Oh, I'm okay." And even then when someone's like, they're okay, you're like, "Oh, okay." You know, like, because you don't really actually mean like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
So
True. That's
I
true.
think, again, lots of things to consider. But like I said, just a lot of influences, as I said, in America and us being Hmong too. I think that has a big thing to do with being Hmong too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Chang kind of talked about too, like kind of talk about taboo. It's a lot of different things you want to take into consideration. But yeah, like I said, culturally, even like spiritually, because like I said, some people who are traditional, if they're experiencing mental health, they may see it more of a spiritual thing. So that's one thing as well too.
Okay.
Just the knowledge and even like just certain words that you can't even translate from, and like certain mental health illnesses, you can't even translate to Hmong. So that to kind of explain that to someone, it's kind of hard. And overall, mental health, not just limiting to Hmong. I think it's just the stigma that comes with it. But that's just a little bit what I have to say.
Mental health is like your mind's health, not your body health.
Right.
That's all I tell people. Like,
Right.
that's basically what it is. But like, that's an easier way to, because some people, it's like mental health is like, especially men. Like, I feel like men feel like they can't be emotional. They can't
like,
be soft. They can't express themselves
Yeah.
because like it's a norm for America to see, oh, that's soft.
That men
As
has
a
to be
men has
strong.
to be tough.
Right.
Like,
That's why I feel like men, we always bottle up our emotions.
Yeah.
And until we eventually explode,
pull
That's true.
trigger.
So since you guys are saying that, you guys keep it in until you guys explode, what are some ways you guys feel that would like help you guys, let it out?
Eat.
Yeah, no,
We can
that's
tell.
not good.
Just kidding.
No.
Honestly, one thing that really helps is just keep yourself busy, dude. Like,
Oh yeah.
when you're busy, you keep yourself busy. You don't have time to like sit there and think about things
very
things that discomfort you or like makes you feel a certain way. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you're constantly like busy, like work, you can go work out, you go hang out with your friends. Like, keeps your mind off of the things like temporarily.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that too, I think it's important to also figure out what the underlying thing is too.
Causes.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
think
yeah.
it's good to stay busy, but eventually it comes to a point where so you have to kind of dig in deeper.
You just can't run away from it.
Yeah. So, trying to figure out like,
Avoid.
hey, what is this stressor thing that's making me feel this way? And so again, I'm all about healthy coping skills. I think that's very, very important. As I said, mental health, it's kind of like, when someone is sick or we're sick physically, we go to a doctor, right? And so I think that, one thing that I want to put emphasis on is that for mental health, right? If we're not feeling well mentally, we need to go see a therapist, right? I think that's the thing, is a stigma, like, oh, I go see a therapist. Someone automatically thinks like, oh, you're crazy. Oh, what's wrong with you, right? But it's like,
That's
hey,
true.
when we're not feeling physically ill, we go see a doctor, or well, we go see a doctor. So if we're not like, again, mentally, if we're going through stuff mentally, why can't we go talk to a therapist? And so kind of like Pheng saying, I think healthy coping skills, like I said, keeping yourself busy, whether, exercising, different things. What are some of healthy coping skills that you guys do for your mental health?
Yeah, like I said, exercise is one thing, walking or like I said, lifting weights. And honestly, just really, like what you said, just trying to really find, like dig deep, like what really is the root cause of it, and just try to talk it out with, maybe a close friend. If not, get a therapist if you don't feel comfortable. I feel like, mental health is very important. That's one thing that people neglect all the time,
I think one way and one thing I do is I just talk about it. An easier thing I've found about it is like I would talk about it to like a stranger. So like for example, like today I was like talking to my coworker about it, about things, and I'm like sometimes it helps if I just talk to a stranger because they don't know the people that I talk about.
It's like getting stuff off your chest.
And it's like they would see it from a different perspective. So I think just talking about it is one way I would cope, or like how do I deal with it?
Yeah, because they kind of have like that third party view. Whereas if you're going to someone like primary in your life, it's like they're gonna kind of have like a biased view of no, right. Okay, I get it. It's nice.
How about you, Elijah? What are some coping skills that you or healthy things you do for your mental health?
For me, I usually just talk to a friend, and then besides that, I use music as my therapy. So yeah, I just listen to a lot of music, or I make a lot of music because like you're verbally talking it out still.
Like express yourself, express what you feel. Okay.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah.
I like
how about
that.
you? Besides eating,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
I like to call my ex.
She's the only one that understands.
Honestly, like for me, like if I'm dealing with certain kind of stuff, it's like most of the time it's just like I just get to the point where I just need to work on myself.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's just like choosing a better lifestyle, choosing better like overall like diet and everything. Because I feel like when you feel good, it's like like you're taking care of your body, you look good, you feel good. Type stuff,
that's true.
Like your
look good,
spirits
feel
high,
good.
stuff like that. Versus like if you just don't take care of yourself, you just like it's just like another burden on top of what you're stressing about. Because I felt like mental health, I feel like once you start working on yourself, you eventually like get away from what's bothering you.
It's true.
Like let's just say like maybe not. I don't know. Like I don't know what bothers people, but like for me, it's like I don't know. Honestly, like, I never really dealt with like mental health crazy stuff like that before. So for me, it's like I just like to keep myself busy, so I don't think about like the little things or stupid things that I can't control. You guys know what it means? Like I control what I can, whatever I can. I was like, it's out of my power. It's like I'll leave that to God.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of things, but kind of like what Pheng was saying, I think self-care, it's really, really important. And I also am a big believer that it's self-care, right? Because we always hear this saying, you pour into others, you're gonna run dry. And I think it's so important. And I think for me, even being like culturally, being Hmong, being a Hmong woman, being a mom, being a Yang, and being a sister, like it's try to find that balance of when am I being selfish? Am I being selfish? But I also learned that, I have to take care of myself, my mental health too, because if I'm just give, then I'm going to run dry and then no one's going to see me or no one's going to get anything from saying, and so, I like kind of thinks that, I think what he's trying to say is just like definitely the self-care.
Then to bounce off of what Zhang is saying, it's like self-care for sure, because if you don't take care of yourself, then you're not the best version of yourself for you and for people around you.
So I got a question. All right, I know I'm not the only one who feels like this, but doctor appointment, right? Why do people hate stepping on the scale? Is that like mental health thing?
I don't.
Like
I think
usually people are scared,
it's
like afraid
health.
and
I think
see
it's
like
more of like
it's kind of like they're afraid to know how much they weigh, or like they're
because,
like they're scared that doctor said, "Well, you're obese."
Insecurity.
I mean, I feel like it goes to, and it's not just being secure, but it's like I think that's like a whole other topic too, where I think it has to do with society, where we define what beauty is.
We have to fit a certain
and so
image
it's like
of what beauty is.
And then with that being said, too, there's also the reality of like, hey, like realistically, maybe your BMI is a little bit higher, right? So there comes, I feel like there's a few components. Like there's the societal issue, like the societal part where it's like, oh, I don't fit the beauty standard, the beauty norm. And also sometimes, like people, for example, they avoid going to doctors because they don't want to hear bad news, right?
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's probably like, oh, I don't want to step on a scale because I don't want to hear like, hey, you need to lose weight. Hey, you need to do this, take care of your health.
I don't want to see my blood pressure.
Yeah, or like
my
that.
cholesterol.
So that's like a whole other topic, which we should talk about soon too.
And I do think that like does tie in, like, if you feel like that's not, like the weight you want to be, or you don't feel your healthiest, then, it's like mentally you're just like, oh my gosh, this is it, you're fixated on that. So in a way that could affect your mental health.
That's true. Yeah. That's very true.
Too.
So raise your hand if you're shy to step on a scale for our doctor.
I don't care.
I have to
I
do
haven't
anyways.
been to the doctors.
Hey, how come you didn't raise your hands? I've been neglected by the doctor.
Neglected is crazy.
I've been neglecting the doctor.
Going back with mental health too, it's a component of a lot of things too. So, we can't talk about physical health, but you do have to physically take care of yourself for you to be mentally well.
strong.
That's very true.
Yeah, so, it really all...
It's kind of like...
It's like a whole ecosystem.
Because
it is. It all ties in.
Going back to physical health, plays a role because you think about let's just say you're doing an obstacle course, right? And this guy's fit. He jump over a wall, and you're over here thinking like, "Damn, how am I gonna do that?"
Mm-hmm.
So damn,
I
that
don't know
was
if you guys ever did obstacle course, but
not a long time. But I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So you're already mentally damn, you gotta be. Strong.
You already mentally shut yourself down. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of time they're scared of getting judged by people who they go to.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of like let's just say Chang come to me. He's like, "Oh, bro, me and my girls just broke up and all this shit." And I'm like, "Oh, you're a little pussy, bro. There's a little girl out there."
Yeah.
But that's not the answer he wants to hear.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like he's hurt right now.
I feel like you're just it plays a part where people is afraid to not afraid, but they expect they already know what the answer is gonna be. It's not gonna be what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Come talk to me. I'm a good therapist.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
Believe it or not.
Sometimes too, adding on to that, something, we just want to be heard, right? I think that's the important thing. And the thing about mental health, like I said, I think it's very important to kind of going back to figuring out what you're feeling, because some of the most common feelings that people just kind of associate or automatically think of is oh, you're happy, you're mad, you're sad, right? But sometimes when you really think about it, you're like, am I mad? Am I happy? I'm sad. It's like, no, hey, what if you're disappointed? What if you're confused? What if you're scared, right? So it's very important to really know your emotional well-being. And I think it really takes years, honestly, because I feel even for me, I'm still working on it where we're at the bad. I was like, okay, maybe it's just easier for me to be like, oh, I'm angry. But I have to really think back and be like, oh, no, maybe I'm not angry. I'm actually disappointed, So I think it's very important for us all just to, just figure out your emotional well-being, your emotional state of mind, and kind of going back to making sure that we break from those generational traumas, because kind of going back to Hmong culture too, not just that, but in general, breaking those generational trauma where, our parents, they don't know because, again, mental health clearly is not even a topic for them to discuss about.
Right,
for us,
yeah.
We know better. We got to do better so that, our children, the future, they know that they could talk about their emotions. They know that it's important to take care of themselves, making sure that other people's mental health are good too. I think that's a big thing too. But yeah, just a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel like that should be the new norm, just to express how you really feel.
Yeah, I guess, it's very true. The Hmong, or just not the Hmong community, but many communities out, they don't really highlight mental health. They just think as you're just whatever. And so like I said, people are afraid to speak out, how they feel and what they feel.
Going back to our own experiences, how we're raised, like we kind of talked about. So our mental state of mind, our physical health, our environment, right? I know you guys kind of had a topic about that, about friends. I say your environment, it's also part of your mental health too.
Right,
so
it is.
It's a big thing. It's like I said, it's like an ecosystem, like you kind of said, Dragon, where it's it's everything that's in your life that you have to consider that affects your mental health. So it's so important what you listen to, who you choose to have in your life, what you do, your the way you think, stuff like that too. But I do also want to add, there is also such thing as positive toxicity or negative positivity, where it's just that constant oh, I'm gonna be okay, right? Because it's also actually a thing now where it's you don't feel your emotions, right? It's very important to also just feel your emotion. Hey, you know what, I know I'm gonna get over this mountain right now, but for right now, even for the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna just cry it all out. It's important for you to feel that emotion, and then you could be okay, I'm gonna go ahead and move on from this now. So I think growing up, it's just so such a norm to just either you're negative or positive, right? But I think now it's important to be hey, I'm going to feel my emotions. I'm not just always going to tell myself it's going to be okay. You'll get through this, because sometimes, let's say, it's encouragement, because that's kind of what we're used to. But there's also that part where it's hey, I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here for you. And so I think just learning those different statements, it really does help too, because you're not invalidating their experience.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very true. Very true.
Alcohol and drugs is not an answer
it is not
resolve anything.
No,
to be honest, I know a lot of people, they just drink when they're heartbroken or they're going through stuff, but it's that's like a bandage, bro. It's temporarily, it's gonna come off, and then the scab is there still. So it's just you just gotta start working on yourself and, you know, like focus on you. And then eventually, you know, like you'll get over that mountain or that steep hill you're on. It's like nothing's going to happen overnight, but you just got to be the change that you want to see.
Yeah, I think most people, they feel like they're alone and they're going through things alone. But just to go back off what Zhang said too, like, you know, just surround yourself with people, and, you know, it's okay if you have to, hey, like, I'm going to shut you out for a minute because you're not healthy for me. But, and then to find some, you know, people who are better for you to help you get through that. I feel like that's important, you know, just surround yourself with people who can support you because you're already going through things. So, yeah.
And it kind of goes back to, again, your environment, right? Like, you know, like Pheng kind of mentioned, sometimes, you know, someone may come to you or you go to someone, you know, you already kind of know what their advice may be. So it's important to find friends where you really could be vulnerable and just be able to be yourself. Yeah. Like, hey, this is what I'm going through, you know, kind of thing too. And kind of going back to like that whole like ecosystem, right? So I forgot to add to it. Like sometimes, you know, despite you being changing your environment, you know, try to change your way of thinking, taking care of yourself physically, sometimes it really is, you know, like a chemical imbalance thing in your brain. So that's kind of where medication does need to come in. And I know that, you know, in the field of mental health, you know, there are all the individuals who do need to take medication for it. But of course, you know, I advise you, you know, see a therapist, see a psychologist, psychiatrist for that. But then that's something too, where sometimes you are trying to do everything you can, but guess what? Now it's something that you do need something to help your brain with. So that's one thing too that sometimes a lot of people disregard. Right. So just be mindful of that too.
You guys want to know one thing that helped me? I'm not telling you guys to do it, but what I do.
What is it?
I smoke weed.
Smoke weed.
Because sometimes it's just kind of like, you guys just need that, like, I feel like when I smoke, sometimes it put me at peace with myself. It's like I'm not worried about, like,
kind of realigns you.
Yeah, it kind of like makes me see the real picture. Like, bro, it's like you got this, bro. Like, you know, like, because you like when you're like, speaking for myself, like when I'm high, it's like sometimes you get really deep within yourself, like your feelings, your imagination, just things, you know, like things is just sometimes
you analyze things differently.
Yeah, like puzzles just solve. It's like you can solve like puzzles in your head, and then that helped me a lot. Like I say earlier in our previous episodes, like, you know, growing up, everyone saw it as a bad thing and it was illegal, you know, but it's like 2023 that you just got to be 21 too. Because I'm not saying do it, but, you know, it's like, or like get some sort of stuff that will help you. Like, you shouldn't rely on it, but if it helps you and you can still function. Because I know some people who they smoke and they're just completely like stupid. Like, sorry, I didn't want to say it that way, but it's the only way to put it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but there's people who like Snoop Dogg. You know, he smokes and he still functions.
Man, shut up, Snoop Dogg.
Like, Wiz Khalifa, like, no, like, just a lot of people, you know, like,
right.
Like, even like, it's normal, like, right now, like, NFL players, like, ex-NFL players, they're starting to come out, we smoked while we were playing games, because it helped them mentality and everything, you know, like, mentally help them, because it's like, they go through a lot of stuff, you know, like, we don't know, we'll never know, because we're not professional athletes, but that's one thing I do that helped me too, but I don't even smoke like that as much anymore. So, which I think is a good thing too. But that's one thing that helped me too. Like,
speaking of mental health, you know, I guess since we're all here, like, how's everybody doing? Like, on like a real note.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely have a lot going on. But yeah, like I said, definitely have a lot going on, and like I said, like, you know, I am a mom, I'm a wife, daughter, sister, and then, you know, working full time, and then I will be, you know, continuing my education soon too. So just trying to balance that. But like I said, I think it just kind of comes down to where I know like what my stressors are. I know how I usually handle stress or what stresses me out. So for me, like, you know, I know that I get really bad anxiety when it comes to stuff in general. So I like to pre-plan things. So I kind of do things where I know that, okay, I'm going to do this now so that when time comes, I'm not going to be stressed about it, you know?
Okay,
so, yeah. But all in all, like I said, even like I kind of remind myself too, where I'm like, okay, you know, again, I have to just make sure that I have, you know, try to balance having some time, you know, with my son, even having time with my family. Like even tonight, it's like, oh, like a little sacrifice. Like, oh, okay, even if I get home a little bit later, it's fine. You know, it's like, you know, just balancing my schedule, prepping things ahead for school, prepping things for the weekend, like stuff that you do now. Like I always have this thing where I'm like, okay, like how can present Zhang help future Zhang, right? So what can I do now to help myself so in the future it's like less things for me to do? And then when that does happen, I'm like, oh yeah, past Zhang was looking out for future Zhang, kind of thing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what, like I said, it took me a while to know kind of, that my anxiety, I get a lot bad anxiety. It helps me to realize like, okay, I need to plan ahead of time. I need to do things, whether it's writing things out, putting calendars, stuff on my calendar, just trying to stay organized. I know that's kind of what helps me kind of stay aligned, but yep, that's how I'm doing. How are you guys doing?
How you doing, big dog?
Oh, honestly, I think I'm doing good. Like, I've just been kind of like introvert. Like, I've just been kind of dissing myself from like a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel that.
Like, I think a lot of people notice that too, that I haven't really been around like friends and stuff like that. Like, there's no particular reason. It's just, I'm just kind of like trying to focus on myself right now. Like, like I just turned 29, so I'm just trying to like, I'm like mentally, I'm good. I just have a lot of like goals that I'm trying to reach and like accomplish. So for me, it's just kind of like back to grind mode. It's like I don't think I'm missing out on much in life right now, but it's just focus on myself and my goals, I guess.
Yeah. There we go.
Mm-hmm. How are you, Elijah?
Me, I feel like I'm at a good spot, like a kind of comfortable spot. Like what Uncle Pheng said, he's an introvert. I feel like I'm the same way, because back then I used to like keep up with everybody, and so my schedule.
Same, bro. I used to be a people person.
Yeah. And then so after like when I became an introvert, I felt like everything is so calm now. Like you just focus on yourself. And then it was just like I think 5 months ago I was like hella depressed, dude. And then I just became an introvert, worked on myself. And then I was also depressed because I still didn't know what to do after high school. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I have a plan now. So I'm at a chill spot right now.
That's good. Like one thing to add about like just dissing yourself too is sometimes it's good to just step back.
So you can hear yourself think, bro.
Step back and just reassess,
Yeah, it's like you step back and just keep your eye on your own lane instead of like, because when we were, or at least for me, when I was still like hanging out with people or like a people person, it's kind of like, it's like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I do too much for like, just to like, I don't know how to say this. I'm gonna say it and it's gonna sound fucked up, but I didn't mean to say in a fucked up way, but it's basically like sometimes you do like, it's basically like how you say like you pour too much in other people's cup. So like by the time you notice, you're already on like
you're dry.
You're dry. You're like, damn, it's dry. My DM is dry. Like, but basically, that's why like for me, I just kind of like pull the e-brake and I'm like, bro, just chill, go at your own pace. Like
there we go.
I thought that's the important thing too. Is like pace. It's like like I feel like we growing up, we live in other people's like expectation and their pace. Like they think like, oh, right out of high school, you just go to college. Within 4 years, you should like have a career. But it's like, bro, go your own pace. You you say like you were struggling, you're depressed, but it's like, bro, you're 18, 19, bro.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
So I have a long way to
like I was so depressed. Like I forgot I was 18. I felt like I was like 24 or something.
Bro, it's like that. Even I feel like that sometimes. Like I'm like 22. I talk to people and I feel like I'm fucking like 28.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like I'm like, damn, I don't have nothing going. I mean, respectfully, like I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I was just like, it's kind of like, damn, I feel like I'm like 35. I feel like I got nothing going on for me, man. But
like,
I talk to people that, dude, you're 22, you're still young. I was like, holy shit, I am 22.
So how you guys doing, Nou Chi and Chang?
Yeah, I mean, I've been good. Like I said, it's hectic. Crazy. Moving from Fresno to Sac within like 2 weeks, like it was crazy. Like I didn't know what to expect. I was moving to a bigger city. It was like a new environment. I just had to figure things out. Step by step. I was fighting my own demons, but you just kind of go through the motions. If that's healthy or not, but you just kind of go through the motions. Kind of live day by day. It's like, all right, you know what? It's going to be a better day tomorrow, or you just make today better. Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Just like little tweaks and adjustment you got to get used to your new environment. That's how it is when you first move to like a whole new town.
Oh, yeah. Like a new environment.
I wanted to move back to Merced after like 2 days, bro. I was like, damn. Sharing room with Elijah.
That's crazy. You a hater.
He got burnt ass. Word.
You eat ass. I'm sleeping with an ass eater.
I eventually got used to it.
Yeah. You know, like say you just kind of go through the motions and you just kind of realize, you know what, like you just got to make your day.
Yeah.
And so you're in control of your own, like you're the steering wheel, like you driving the car,
right?
Bro. So it's like you gotta steer yourself the way you want to go,
right? Yeah.
If you just let it go and go downhill, then damn, you're gonna hit a wall.
I agree. Like I said, like the things you can control, you know, control them to a certain degree. Things you can't control, you know, you just let it go and just let God take care of it.
How about you, Nou Chi? How are you doing?
You know, I am okay. Like I can't complain, but then every day I do kind of like have a battle that goes on in my head. Just kind of like, you know, just okay, like I feel like, oh, like I need to carry certain relationships for them to be right, for them to continue, or you know, just adjusting to a new city as well, a new job. But I think something that I tend to do a lot too, although I have like a battle in my head, I kind of just tell myself, like, you have a lot of things to be grateful for too, and you are exactly where you need to be. So I remind myself a lot about that, you know, in my head. But yeah, like overall, I'm good. I can't complain. I've had a lot of blessings, just, you know, this month, and and I'm happy to know that the people I love, you know, they've had blessings too. But, you know, just grieving, coping with losses and stuff like that is hard. But I just kind of, you know, take a step back, think about why things happen and stuff like that. So overall, I'm good. I can't complain. It's just, you know, if people don't give me the energy or time that I give them, I just kind of learn to, you know, be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do the same back because, you know, why? I've just kind of been like that. And I don't know if it's who I want to be, you know, but I've just had things too where it's like I give and give, get nothing back. So then that's where I'm kind of like, okay. But overall, yeah, I just try to stay, like talk to myself in happy, healthy ways, you know. But yeah, that's how I'm doing.
Yeah, I think I also do want to add, you know, that, you know, everything that you're all feeling, that we're all feeling, it's very valid, right? Like I said, adjusting to a new city, you know, trying to figure out what we want to do in our life. Those are things that, you know, we're not alone. Like everybody goes through this. And so I think it's very valid. And just remember that too, that, hey, like I'm not the only one going through this. Other people are going through it too, right? But it's a matter of, okay, like how am I going to, you know, deal with this? And like I said, you know, I encourage, you know, everyone, including myself, you know, just develop healthy, you know, coping skills. Again, take care of yourself, self-care, self-talk, you know, is very, very important too, right? You know, what you tell yourself, like even saying stuff like, you know, when we laugh, you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm so dead. That's hella funny. Like it's just stuff like that where you have to be really mindful of the words you say.
Right,
like, oh my God, I'm so stupid, right? Because honestly, like you saying that, you don't realize like it's gonna impact you.
It is, yeah.
So, you know, positive self-talk, you know, it is also very important, like you kind of mentioned, to, you know, make gratitude lists, right? You know, tell yourself, list a few things you're thankful for each day as reminders, just stuff like that. So it's very, very important. You know, like I said, so you know, we do encourage, you know, everyone, again, you know, we all go through stuff. It's so important to take care of your mental health, you know, to seek help. There's so much different outlooks and resources out there. And so, you know, Dragon will go ahead and link them down too. So again, please do talk to someone, know that there's someone there and that, you know, there is help for you, and please do take care of yourself.
Yes, you are not alone.
And we just want to thank Xeng for being here.
Thank you, Xeng.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah.
You know, like I just like say, like everyone just get the help you need. Like you need to talk to somebody. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Like, you know, like even if you're going through something and you want to like message us 4+1 podcast, you know, like we'll gladly,
let us know.
We'll be here to like. I mean, I don't know what advice we're going to give you, but we'll give you the best advice we can give you.
We'll help you to the best of our abilities, definitely.
Or you can call my hotline number.
It's going to be his personal phone number.
209, call Pheng.
Yeah, but like I said,
209,
there's definitely
Pheng.
so much resources out there. So, you know, you matter to someone. And so please know that.
Seek for help.
Yeah, so.
Seek for help. You matter, you know. And as our slogan, always live your purpose out loud.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Everybody's here with a purpose. So don't let that be forgotten. And
you are important to somebody.
Oh, yeah. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching this episode of 4+1 Podcast. Know that you're not alone. Thank you, Zhang, for being on this episode. And as always, live your purpose out loud. Until next time.
Samps.